Job 24. Why are times not appointed by the Almighty? Why do those who know him not see his days? Men move boundary stones. They seize the flock and pasture them. They drive away the orphans' donkeys. They take the widow's ox as a pledge. They turn the needy from the pathway, and the poor of the land hide themselves together like wild donkeys in the wilderness. They go out to their labor, seeking diligently for food. The arid Rift Valley provides food for them and for their children. They reap fodder in the field and glean in the vineyard of the wicked. They spend the night naked because they lack clothing. They have no covering against the cold. They are soaked by mountain rains and huddle in the rocks because they lack shelter. The fatherless child is snatched from the breast. The infant of the poor is taken as pledge. They go about naked without clothing and go hungry while they carry the sheaves. They press out the olive oil between the rows of olive trees. They tread the winepress while they are thirsty. From the city the dying groan, and the wounded cry out for help. But God charges no one with wrongdoing. There are those who rebel against the light. They do not know its ways, and they do not stay on its path. Before daybreak, the murderer rises up. He kills the poor and the needy in the night. He is like a thief. And the eye of the adulterer watches for the twilight, thinking, no eye can see me, and covers his face with a mask. In the dark, the robber breaks into houses, but by day they shut themselves in. They do not know the light. For all of them, the morning is to them like deep darkness. They are friends with the terrors of darkness. You say, he is foam on the face of the waters. Their portion of the land is cursed, so that no one goes to their vineyards. The drought as well as the heat snatch up the melted snow, so the grave snatches up sinners. The womb forgets him, the worm feast on him. No longer will be remembered. Like a tree, wickedness will be broken down. He preys on the barren and the childless woman, and does not treat the widow well. But God drags off the mighty by his power. When God rises up against him, he has no faith in his life. God may let them rest in the feeling of security, but he is constantly watching all their ways. They are exalted for a little while, and then they are gone. They are brought low like all others and gathered in, and like a head of grain they are cut off. If this is not so, who can prove me a liar and reduce my words to nothing? What shirt do I have on today? Bear with me while I speak, and after I've spoken, mock on. Okay, so I'm in 21 is where my shirt is from today. Not that one, but I do have that one. If this is not so, who can prove me a liar and reduce my words to nothing? I love this from Job. You cannot contradict what I'm saying. You have no proof. You cannot prove that I've done something wrong. There is no evidence of it. You cannot dispute me. You cannot dispute me. You can't take it wrong. Okay, so backing up here to the beginning of the passage. He is like, this is why I really don't like it. He's in the middle. He is in the middle of his rant against his friends who are saying, you must have done wrong. The evidence that you've done wrong is a bad thing has happened to you. Well, you know what? We're in a fallen world. Bad things happen to good people. So that's faulty logic. They have, here's one of the things with wisdom. Wisdom is not, it applies in all times and all places. It's absolute, and there is no way that it can't be exactly this every time. No, wisdom is knowing when something applies and when something does not apply. The Proverbs say, answer a fool according to his folly, and like 5, 6, 7 verses, maybe it's 9 verses later, it says, do not answer a fool according to his folly. So which is it? Wisdom is figuring out when and where things apply, and they are statements of general truth that help guide you. but they are not they're universal. They apply everywhere. Okay, so why are times not appointed by the Almighty? Why do those who know him not see his days? Men move boundary stones. They seize the flocks and pasture them. They drive away the orphans' donkeys. They take a widow's ox and pledge. So now he is going to go through a litany of accusations against wrongdoers that he can see who did the wrong, and he can see God has not judged them. Those who are doing wicked have not been judged. They are continuing to do this. He's going to go through the things that they do. They move boundary stones, and then they put their, the boundary stone, if you don't know, like imagine moving, like if you have a fence, moving the fence a foot closer to your neighbor's house and then a foot closer. Suddenly it's right next to your neighbor's house. Oh no, how did I get this extra land? I don't know. But you got to have larger territories. And so moving a stone that's the boundary marker by about 5 feet, you're not going to notice it, right? So I keep gradually increasing my territory by taking from my neighbor. I'm going to drive the widow's or orphan's donkey away. I'm going to take the widow's ox as a pledge, so I'm going to help the widow, but I have to take the ox and pledge, and then the widow can never pay me back, and I get to keep the ox. Turn the needy from the path, and the poor of the land hide themselves together. So, like wild donkeys in the wilderness, they go out to their labor, seeking diligently for food. The arid rift valley provides food for them and for their children. So the poor and the widow and the orphan and the foreigner are having to go and hide from the oppressors who are oppressing them and taking from them. And if you don't know, we're going to get to the naked part here. These are all the same thing where you take something in pledge. If you take someone's coat in pledge, you're supposed to give it back so that they are not cold at night, so that they are not naked. If you take land, you're supposed to only purchase the land for until the Jubilee year, and then it returns to the owner of the land. So this is all about exploitation of the people. Job is identifying where it's happening. He's seeing it all around him. They spend the night naked because they lack clothing. They have no covering against the cold. They are soaked by the mountain rains. They huddle in the rocks. So he's talking about like their shelters are gone. The fatherless child is snatched from the breast. The infant of the poor is taken as pledge. So when you have nothing else to give, they take your kids away from you. They go about naked without clothes. They go hungry while they carry the sheaves. While they carry the sheaves, you're making them work. You're not paying them enough. They don't have enough to actually sustain themselves from the work they're doing. You are oppressing them. Even the ones you employ, you're oppressing. They press out the olives between the rows of olive trees. They tread the winepress while they are thirsty. They're doing all this work, and they're not getting wages for it. They are being exploited. The city, the dying groan, and the wounded cry out for help, but God charges no one with the wrongdoing. So I'm pointing out all this stuff. I don't see God taking action. Over there, wrongdoing is happening. Here, righteousness is happening. Over there with the wrongdoing, no punishment. Here with righteousness, seems like punishment. Seems like punishment has come upon me. For those who rebel against the light, rage against the dying of the light, rebel against the light. They do not know its ways. They don't stay on the path. So now he's going to talk about light and darkness. These are going to be the people who operate at night. They wake up before daybreak and do murder. Yeah, you want to do it while nobody can see. They kill the poor and the needy in the night like a thief. And the eye of the adulterer watches for twilight, thinking, no eye can see me, and covers the face with a mask. In the dark, the robber breaks into the house. So all these people are acting at night so no one can see. You can't see who did it. I know who did it. We can, God sees who does it. Doesn't matter if we know. They're still not being punished. We see the consequences. Their portion of the land should be cursed so that they go around so that no one goes to their vineyards. That's not happening. The drought as well as the heat snatch up the melted snow so that the grave snatches up the center. This is how it should be, but I'm not seeing it happen. The womb forgets him. The worm feasts on him. No longer will he be remembered like a tree. Wickedness will be broken down. So there is the eventuality of it, that the tree will be broken down. But a tree isn't broken up when it's small. Eventually, the tree of wickedness needs to be chopped down. He preys on the barren and a childless woman. He does not treat the widow well. The widow well. That's a fun thing. But God drags off the mighty by his power. When God rises up against him, he has no faith in his life. God may let them rest in the feeling of security, but he is constantly watching all their ways. They are exalted for a little while, and then they are gone. They are brought low like others and gathered in, and like a head of grain, they are cut off. If this was not so, who can prove me a liar? So if you can't prove that what I'm saying is true, what are you going to do to argue with me? Like, what proof do you have? They are getting away with it. Now, I know it's not forever. They will eventually be cut down. But you are saying because I am being cut down that I'm at fault, and it's not true. Straight up, you're wrong. You're wrong.